the last video, I mentioned my developer relations experiment, and in this video, I want to share some of the details. My favorite definition is that developer relations is building relationships with the developer community, building genuine, authentic, mutually beneficial relationships with your users. And building a relationship with your users kind of involves the same principles of any relationship, which is genuinely caring for the other person and understanding their pain points, and then figuring out how you can best help them achieve their goals and resolve their pain points. So this sounds really good in the abstract, but my goal with the developer relations experiment was to figure out if I would actually like doing it as a job. And so I needed a concrete, measurable framework that I could devise my experiment and projects around, so that I could figure out what parts of the developer relations job I actually like and which parts are not that appealing to me. So I started reading a bit more, and I came across this excellent framework by Eddie Zaleski, and he talks about developer relations as having three areas or three components: code, content, and community. So code involves creating sample applications and sample repositories and plug and play applications that will help your developers get productive with your product faster and reduce the barrier to entry or the friction of onboarding. And the reason for this is that you have to remember that the developers who come to you for your product don't actually care about your product as much as they care about achieving their goal. For example, the users of CockroachDB don't really care about databases, although some of them are database nerds, as they like to call themselves. But most of the developers or application developers actually want to build an application, and they're looking for a database that will help them build that application. So as a developer relations person or a developer advocate, my job would be to not only explain how CockroachDB works, but also to help the users build their application end to end and help them figure out how CockroachDB fits into the whole tech stack and how to optimize it for performance. So basically help the users reach their end goal by minimizing the friction for your product, which is a small part of their overall tech stack. The second part of the framework is content. It involves technical documentation, technical blog posts, Twitter content or social media content, the slide decks for conference presentations or tech videos. All of that fits in the big umbrella of content. And then the final part of the framework is community. And this means developing one-on-one personal relationships with your users in the form of online forums or again social media, or meeting with them in person at conferences and meetups, or organizing and participating in events like hackathons. So the first time I heard of the framework and I realized what each of the areas mean and the activities that are part of each of the areas, it was super overwhelming. So I was kind of confused about how one person would do all of these things. So I asked a couple of experienced developer advocates about how do they manage all of these activities, and they told me that they don't. So the expectation is not that one person would be an expert in all of these areas. The expectation is that you choose one area to be an expert in and then be reasonably good enough in the other two areas. So I was thinking about how do I figure out which area do I want to be an expert in. Content seems like the most logical area for me, but I was really curious about code and community as well. So I decided to devise projects for each of those areas and then prototype and experiment. So here's the experiment plan I came up with. So for code, I enrolled in Udacity's Nano Degree program for full stack web development. And the reason for that is that I wanted to go back to the beginner mindset. I feel like I have been so focused on CockroachDB for the past 2 years that I've kind of lost touch with the end-to-end tech stack and the pain points that the users go through at each part of the user journey, of which CockroachDB is just one part. And I hope this course will help me get back to the code newbie beginner mindset that will help me understand my users better. Also, as part of the course, I will end up building 5 applications that I can then offer up as open source sample repositories for my users. For the content part of the experiment, I started live tweeting tech events that I went to, and I do make tech videos, but I want to make more of them, and I want to experiment with tech doodles and tech zines. And for the community part of the experiment, I have been attending a lot of tech events, and I mean a lot. Like, I think I have attended an event almost every week for the past 2 months, and I've been traveling a lot for the events as well, because developer relations involves a lot of travel, and I wanted to see if I actually like traveling as much as is needed, or do I just like it in theory. So I've just been traveling to San Francisco and Orlando, and I'm again going back to San Francisco in October, so we'll see. So that is my developer relations experiment. I will keep sharing the results and my observations and the things I learn on this channel. And if you're thinking of making a career change to developer relations, I highly recommend that you come up with your own experiment and prototype your career as a DevRel person before making the leap. And if you do that experiment, I would love to know about it. So please let me know in the comments down below. And if you're an experienced developer advocate, I would love to know your opinion or your feedback on my experiment. So again, please comment down below and let me know. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.